13 minutes from now, at around 4 p.m., the eThekwini Municipality Mayor will be meeting with ratepayer associations over the water crisis. Water interruptions continue unabated across eThekwini. As we cover this issue extensively, there is still no reprieve as many suburbs experience ongoing water interruptions, while some rural areas have not had running tap water for years. For more on this, I'm joined by Asad Gaffa, who is chairperson of the Westville Ratepayers Association, and Roshan Lil-Ruthan, who is the spokesperson for the Verulam Water Crisis Committee. A very good afternoon to you both, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Roshan, perhaps let's start with you. What are your expectations ahead of the meeting this afternoon?
Well, Mpo, firstly, thank you for having us. My expectations today is basically to find out where we are at the moment regarding the water crisis, and particularly now that work has been done on the 6 valves, and where to from there, because as a community we have had no effect since the replacement of the 6 valves. We are still a community without water. There are now communities in my area gone on to 170 days without water. So really, what has happened, what has changed, we would like the mayor to share with us what is going on.
What are you hoping to hear from the mayor as the meeting takes place, Asad?
Yeah, look, this is just part of the tick box exercise in terms of the city, and it's just a public participation process. They're going to try and make it seem as though they're there to give some tangible answers or solutions and show that they are listening to the communities and taking us serious. We know that this is also ahead of the elections, so they need to be showing that they care. But the reality on the ground, I mean, we as an association, we've identified this crisis early as 2019. And in terms of the infrastructure, this was identified 15, 20 years ago that we would end up in this situation. About a year and a half ago, we were already advising communities across the city that, the infrastructure is going to fail, is going to collapse. And what we're seeing happening now in the north of Durban is going to be replicated across the city. There hasn't been maintenance. The budget that's been set aside for water is not being used for water. In fact, 1.4 billion rand of the budget has simply disappeared. So there's major issues in terms of administration. There's major issues in terms of the budget. And these are serious issues that need to be raised. As an association, we've made it very clear. We've been in high-level discussions with senior officials of the city. In fact, there's another meeting taking place with us this coming Monday. In fact, they're talking about day 0 for eThekwini. Now, we're talking day 0 on water across the city, where the city is losing more than 50% of the water that they procure from Mgeni water. And that's a huge amount of wastage. And if you look at in the last 5 financial years of the city, they've lost over 50 billion rand worth of water. Now, if you're talking 50 billion rand of water, and you look at what's happening currently now in the north of Durban, if we even spent 5 billion rand, they could have resolved this issue within a few weeks.
Roshan, Asad talks about how elections are looming and this perhaps being a tick box exercise event today, which really points to how, as community members, you've been down this road before. Are you convinced at all that anything will come of it?
Well, just like Asad, I'm not optimistic. I'm actually pessimistic about today's meeting. And as he correctly stated, it is a tick box exercise. For one, the Verulam community has invited the mayor on 5 separate occasions. Mpo, you're aware that the national minister came down to Verulam on 2 occasions, and the mayor was the host of the minister. The mayor failed to attend to his own function, not once but twice. In fact, I doubt the mayor might be even there tonight. I had the call on my way to this conference tonight, and someone phoned me and says, we doubt the mayor is going to make it tonight. He's going to send somebody else there. The city is in chaos at the moment with the various strikes that are happening with the unions. And it's impacted service delivery on a very, very difficult for the citizens of the city. And the mayor, again, is nowhere to be found. And I really, really doubt that he's going to be present tonight.
Yeah. Asad, with the mayor supposedly nowhere to be found, what role do you think national government should be playing in this matter?
Look, we are aware that the president himself has now, joined in this debacle. We believe that he met with the Durban Chamber of Commerce yesterday, last night actually, to discuss this issue. It's so ironic. I mean, about a month ago, I was in an interview with the mayor, I think on this particular channel as well. And we had this debate in terms of what's currently happening. And the mayor kept mentioning that this is a challenge. And we corrected him and we said, Mayor, you can't seem to fix this if you don't understand what the problem is. This is no longer a challenge, it's a crisis. I mean, Roshan is talking about people going without water for over 100 days.
Yeah.
Not far from Verulam, close by, there's an area there called Richmond Farm. This community hasn't had piped water for more than 3 years. And the city didn't even know about it. They were not even concerned about it. It's unacceptable. I mean, if you look at the Verulam, Tongat, and the northern parts of Phoenix as well, this community has severely been affected by the floods. And they've been crying, they've been pleading. Some have installed Jojo tanks. I mean, there's elderly persons, there's women, there's children. And mind you, when people talk about Phoenix, they think that it's just one particular community. That's no longer the case. When you go to Phoenix, Verulam, all these areas, there are now multiracial communities living in these communities. So it's affecting elderly, it's affecting children. I mean, the businesses have now stepped up and they are, providing water to the citizens there via tankers and whatever else that they can. There are other communities, I think Durban Beachfront, they are sending bottled water to these communities. And again, we're talking about a constitutional right. This last week, we challenged the city in terms of this very same constitutional right. We were prepared to take them to court on this particular matter. And they knew that they would lose. And they therefore then reconnected an individual who they illegally disconnected. Now, we are meeting with, as I said, on Monday with the water officials. Should we not reach a resolution on Monday, this coming Monday, we will take this city to court. It's unacceptable that these communities are going without water and the city is not taking it serious. The fact that provincial government needed to have stepped in, not now, not last week, is supposed to have stepped in years ago.
Yeah.
Fair enough, we understand that the minister came in and he's been chatting to the Verulam Crisis Committee. But again, it's just a talk show. They missed the deadline of the 14th of February. Now they're talking about the end of March. All they're doing is they're buying time, and we're saying it's unacceptable.
What would a resolution look like? What would a resolution look like?
Well, one of the proposals that we put on the table, and we're serious about this, if the officials of eThekwini cannot resolve this problem, then we as active citizens, we will step in. In fact, we put this proposal on the table to the city. We said there are businesses that are prepared to come in financially and support us in this initiative. And the only reason we would do this is to get this basic need to communities. So we are prepared to pay for whatever it costs, and we're prepared to even pay to get that oversight in terms of administration over this crisis.
Yeah. And before we let you go, Roshan, talk to us about what a resolution in your view would look like as you are hoping to get some sort of outcome. I mean, you say you don't have much hope of a positive outcome from this meeting, but when it comes to a resolution, what would you be looking at?
Well, for us as the Northern Committee and the Northern City part of eThekwini, we would like, firstly, the mayor to acknowledge that he's failed. He's failed dismally. The eThekwini municipality has failed, and so has his senior management. That's the first step to acknowledging a wrong. The second thing would be to accept that Umgeni Utukela takes over the entire water and sanitation of eThekwini. They have already moved in regards to the sewerage aspect. They have taken over 6 plants. They're busy completing refurbishment and are on track with finalizing the refurbishment of that. We believe that it's ideal and an opportune time for Umgeni Utukela as a state-owned enterprise to completely take over the provision of water and sanitation to the citizens of the city. This will then stabilize the system, and they can hand it back if they want. But we believe that the third resolution should be something coming from national government and provincial government, where the city should be placed under administration, and particularly an agency being fully installed now for the future to run water. Just as we have Rand Water in Gauteng, and we have an agency in Mpumalanga and in the Free State, we believe that eThekwini is ripe for an agency. There is legislation in place that the minister can invoke to start the process. So that would be the 3 resolutions that I'm looking forward to tonight. The one that would make the community extremely happy is that the mayor should just tender his resignation and let somebody else do his job. He's failed. He's failed us.
Yeah. Very well. Thank you so much. I'm wishing you all the best there. We're hoping to hear what the outcome of that meeting was eventually. Speaking there to Roshan Lil-Ruthan, who's the spokesperson for the Verulam Water Crisis Committee, as well as Saad Gaffa, who's the chairman of the Westville Ratepayers Association.